It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
It is the Overreaction Monday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. Welcome in. I'm headed over in just a little bit to Tiebreakers for Inside Pirate Athletics with Coach Mike Houston. We'll have plenty to talk about there as far as ECU baseball or football goes. Some people might want to talk ECU baseball. And we will begin with Jay Sonnhalter, as we always do. Quick thank you to Michael Buscemi for his help with the segment. Also, Philip the Ref Pilkington will be in later on in the show. He'll have a Pirate report for you. He'll have a sports update for you, and he'll recap the Panthers' first win yesterday, which miraculously occurred, I suppose. All right, Jay Sonnhalter, playing hurt. He and I go, both been sick. I go last week, Sonny this week. So here we go. He's a well-traveled man. He was all over the globe last week, was Jay Sonnhalter. All right. So, Sonny, give me just impressions out of the college football weekend. Anything that particularly stood out to you from this past weekend?
Yeah, I just think the biggest thing is teams later on in the year are starting to separate themselves. And I think when you look at the best teams in the country compared to maybe that second tier or third tier, you see the difference. And just an overall theme is teams that play defense have a chance to win the national championship. Teams that don't play defense, are kind of getting exposed. And I think line play is really important. And you look at some of the teams that are playing really well. Obviously it's Michigan, Georgia, the teams in the SEC, Ohio State, but teams like USC that we've talked about they almost lost their third game in a row. So I think that's kind of a theme is, we're seeing teams separate themselves. UNC obviously fell down again, so their hopes of a great season's done.
Sonny, with what's going on in Michigan, how do you see, we had the deal with the NCAA, Harbaugh missed the beginning of the year. Now I guess Ryan Day is somehow linked to the same agency that is investigating them for this spying and sign stealing. TCU says we put in dummy signs last year in the national semifinals. So defend your boy Harbaugh.
Well, I just think that everybody's doing some level of cheating. Like all these schools are trying to steal signs. Like you don't think every school's gonna try to look over and figure out the signs. Now, is he going to maybe another degree of it? Possibly, but at the end of the day, like I just think all these schools are hypocrites in a way. They're all trying to do the same thing, and he's probably doing it maybe further. But I don't really understand how you can call out or be against somebody when they're all doing the same thing. The schools could have put in headsets a long time ago, and there's different reasons why they claim they haven't. But if they really want to, then change the rule and put in headsets, just like the NFL put in a microphone in the helmet.
In the quarterback's helmet. Yeah, they could at this point. And the fact that they have not, we'll see if this move is what precipitates that. Now, Sonny, I'm going to ask you, I was reading something yesterday afternoon that there are some that don't, and these are NFL guys, that don't think the NFL is going to be the safe harbor for Harbaugh. It'll be a Jim Tressel kind of situation. So how do you see Harbaugh's future given everything going on at Michigan and given the fact that it appears that the NFL right now is not interested in hiring him?
Well, yeah, I saw all that kind of report come out yesterday that they're not going to welcome him or they're going to try to maybe hold him out or whatever. My thought is he's going to the NFL because he's got a loaded senior class, a loaded draft eligible class, so he's going to lose the whole team. Him and the AD obviously aren't tight, and then the NCAA thing's the biggest thing. And whatever the NFL claims or says, if they go and win the national championship or go to the playoff, he's going to be the number one coaching candidate. And if the Chicago Bears have the number one pick in the draft and Jim Harbaugh is available, they're going to. So, all these reporters that say that, or the NFL is funneling that to them, I get what they're doing, but I just think when it comes at the end of the day, he's probably going to be in the NFL and be the number one candidate.
And then Harbaugh played with the Bears, didn't he? He has that, or am I making that up?
No, he played with the Bears. The two jobs to look out for, the Bears and the
he
Chargers.
played with the Bears, yeah. Bears and the Chargers. Okay.
The Bears are going to have the number one pick probably.
Right.
Because they've got the Panthers,
Chargers.
They've got the Panthers.
Right.
Yeah, Chargers have.
The Chargers are your team, Sonny, by the way, because you're from San Diego originally. So
This is true.
It's your team. All right. Jay Sonnhalter is with us, ESPN college football analyst. You want to talk some Pirates, Sonny? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Alex Flynn, gutsy performance, passed for 225. Was real impressed with what he did. He ran for 53. He did have a pick. Maybe could have had some more picks. Threw for a couple touchdowns. But the team did not appear to. They were ahead at the end of the one. They scored. Got bogged down a little bit there as UTSA made adjustments and then came back and put some points on the board at the end. So, I think pretty gutsy effort, but I think this game, obviously UTSA was the more talented team, and we saw that separation as a result. But you can't dispute the fact that the team is the Pirates are still at least playing hard.
Yeah. Of course the win is what matters, but when you go inside of that, I think the positive signs are that the team, it's tough when we've got a record with only one win to play that hard and to still be motivated and to still, look like you care. And they were out there fighting and on the road against, UTSA is more talented right now against a really good team. They showed me a lot. Rushing for 141 yards on the ground, that's a positive sign. If you can run the ball, you're going to give yourself a chance. I thought, Flynn did some good things. And the biggest thing is, though, they fought, they competed. And if you bring that same effort, because not every team is going to continue to fight, especially later on in the year. You'll see teams kind of pack it in or fall in or not be consistent. It almost looked like we took a step forward and we're much improved, from the previous couple of weeks. So I think if we just continue to stay consistent here, continue to fight hard, and get better and run the ball, we'll hopefully be able to finish off the season, and get some wins here.
Part of the game, I thought that was a real positive, or two positives. The kid Dontavius Nash gets a pick six, so that's a big thing. Defense helping you there, even though you'd already put some points on the board. Andrew Conrad not only hits a field goal in the first, but then he hits a 51-yarder in the right before halftime. So it gives you a little bit of an oomph going to break, and you're still down 2 scores, but it's an 11-point game at that point. So what I'm getting at there, I think Sonny's frozen. What I'm getting at there, Sonny, is I think that those are some positive things because Conrad missed a couple of kicks last week.
Hey.
All right, Sonny, there we are. We got you.
Did yours fall off? Mine, I don't know what happened.
No, yours did. I did not. Michael, real quick, what is that something that can be edited out?
Video-wise, no, because I got nothing to lay over it. Audio-wise, you're only like 8 minutes into the thing.
You just can't butt it up against each other video-wise?
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Okay. Let's just pick it up from there.
Pick it up from your question. Ask your question again.
All right. All right. So ask my question again. All right.
Yes,
The question is, all right. The positives that I also take from it, Conrad hit a couple of field goals, including a 51-yarder. Of course, they were indoors in the dome, but that shows you, he's got the leg, but two, whatever kicks he missed against Charlotte, there's no bad juju or any mental issues or the yips from that. So that's a positive because I think Conrad has the leg strength to complete drives. Rather have touchdowns, of course, but you need that. You're going to need that kicker at some point. And then I was impressed. Tavius Nash got the pick six for the Pirates. So a really nice first quarter and a really nice end to the first half with a 51-yard field goal. Again, we've kind of gone through the first 6 weeks of this thing, 7 weeks of this thing, trying to find silver linings when there maybe has not been that many, or maybe we're pointing to a play or two or a drive or two. I thought this was the best period since Gardner Webb of prolonged good football for ECU.
I do too. I mean, I think there are positive signs all the way throughout the game. We talked about the fight in the team, and that showed me a lot. And just even the disappointment at the end of the game. I mean, you can tell the players are in this; they're fighting, and it's not fun when you only have one win and you're out there practicing every day, and it's not paying off on Saturdays. But you can see the team is getting better, and those positive signs, guys improving. I mean, that is huge. And they talked about the running the football. I think that's a positive sign moving forward into November.
Chase Soul, of course, gets a touchdown catch near the end of the game. He continues to be impressive. But it was nice to see Jalen Johnson kind of break out, receives 8 balls for over 100 yards and a touchdown. So he kind of came on as the season went on last year and provided some help with an already really talented receiving core a season ago. If he can start to ramp this up and build off of this, that's a good sign for the Pirates. By the way, no Shane Calhoun, so that tight end spot, which has had some injuries this year, is a little bit of a void. So I think Johnson took advantage of the opportunities presented to him with Calhoun out.
Yeah, well, Sowell and Johnson, they both averaged over 13 yards per catch, which is huge because that means the offense was aggressive. They were taking shots down the field, and every time they caught the ball, it was basically a first down. So I think Johnson is and can be that number one guy, and so well with those two guys coming along, it just looks like there's more of a rhythm in the pass game, and looked like it was more comfortable for the Pirates throwing the football, and those two guys stepped up. And I just think a game like this, even though you don't win it, it's in a tough spot on the road, you can gain confidence from it. And I think the Pirates was a really good showing for them and something they can build on.
Joshua Cephas was huge, only 4 catches, but had huge yardage. And then Frank Harris, older quarterback, 4 touchdowns. So, look, UTSA is right up there right now with the SMU, who just demolished Tulsa. That was unbelievable. And you've got Tulane, who was up by 20 and had to hold on to win. So, you got 3 teams vying for 2 spots in the AAC championship game. So I think UTSA, just because they're veteran at quarterback, have a little bit of a leg up, perhaps. And obviously, I think the Tulane Green Wave with Michael Pratt and everything they have back from the New Year's Six Bowl win last year, and their great coach, have a leg up. I'm going to ask you about Tulane in a minute, but SMU, I think they avoid Tulane, and I think they avoid UTSA. I'll check that. I know they avoid Navy. So SMU got some favors as they were going out to the ACC next year. And I just think, Sonny, that they are they're going to, if they can beat people's brains in from here on out, that's what they're going to do.
Oh yeah, they're going to try to, and their last year they're going to try to go out there and kind of make a statement. And I mean, their goal is to win it all and leave the conference. So they're going to have an opportunity. You're right. I mean, with the schedule, they kind of caught some breaks that other teams don't have.
They do get Navy at the end of the year, but they do not get Texas San Antonio, and they do not get Tulane. So, I mean, they got Rice next week, should be favored there. North Texas should be favored in that Friday game on the 10th. Memphis might be their toughest challenge on the road coming up. So I think that's beneficial for them. Let's talk a little bit about Tulane, the Pirate opponent this week. Obviously, they have Michael Pratt. They have one of the best coaches in the conference, if not the country. And, look, they were able to hold off Rice. They've had some close shaves this year, but when it comes to kind of nut-cutting time, this is a team that can rely on a lot of experience and a lot of successful experience.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to be dominant in every game, and their only losses to Ole Miss, so and that was a close game, so that just kind of shows you how good they are.
And I don't think
think
Pratt played in that one, did he, Sonny? I don't think he did. So
he did it, yeah. And Pratt is a real. I mean, we've seen him as a freshman. He's an NFL caliber quarterback. He'll have a shot whether that's getting drafted or in camp. So anytime you have a guy like that has experience, I mean, he's their leader, and then Willie Fritz, outstanding coach. So it's going to be a tough challenge for ECU. But I mean, it's a thing. If ECU comes ready to play, plays defense, and you can get some turnovers, we'll see what happens. But I mean, Tulane is really good, and just that experience from what they've been able to do last year, I mean, is huge for them in those close games.
All right, we're going to talk some other college football, 3 teams in the state after this timeout on Overreaction Monday with Jay Sonnhalter on the PJ Show.
2024s are moving in, which means 2023s are moving out. It's the model year-end move out at Greenville Toyota. Shop new RAV4s, $289 a month. Even save on the all-new Camry, also $289 a month. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
At GoEco, we don't just supply the office space. We create solutions for any environment. Our state-of-the-art commercial-grade video display is perfect for watching film with the team. From film study to the field, elevate your game with GoEco.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
The 2024s are here and the 2023s need to move. It's the model year-end move out at Greenville Toyota. Move in on new Tacomas just $299 a month. Plus get the Greenville Advantage at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
You ready for this?
Oh, I'm very ready. Okay, ready?
You ready?
Streaming to the world at 943thegame.com. This is the Patrick Johnson Show. Now in all his glory, here's the P-Man.
Welcome back. We're driving you towards Inside Pirate Athletics with Coach Mike Houston coming up for Tiebreakers in just a little bit. Sonny, what was your favorite costume as a kid that you would dress in, or maybe even in college? What was your favorite Halloween costume? What was it?
You'll like this one. I was alfalfa one year for the Little Rascals, and I had my hair sticking up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was pretty good,
That's
wasn't it? Because I kind of looked like him. Yeah, when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah,
that was my.
I can imagine you kind of look like him. As a little kid, I had Superman. Which I thought was good.
What are you going to be this year?
Asleep.
Asleep.
My hope. My hope. I'll be asleep during the whole thing. It's going to be cold. My hope is I'll be asleep. Jay Sonnhalter is with us here. Couple national things that stood out to me. Oregon, who barely lost to Washington, beats Utah, and dismantles Utah on the road. Washington defensively has been iffy the last couple of weeks. I thought for a while there they may have been they and Michigan may have been the best two teams. And look, Washington may still win out and get there. But it seems to me, even with the one loss, Oregon might play their way into an opportunity. We'll see. But, that was pretty impressive from the Ducks on Saturday.
Yeah, to go on the road at Utah, and Utah had won like 27 in a row at their home field. So I think Oregon's the best team in the Pac-12, even though they lost to Washington. They're the best team. They lost at Washington at the end of the game. They're going to play them again probably in the Pac-12 championship. But I wouldn't be surprised, even though USC is playing badly. The Washington-USC game Saturday night is going to be a tough one for Washington on the road.
Well, look, USC defensively is atrocious, but they can score. The one thing a Lincoln Riley team can do is score. All right, speaking of, let me find it here. Speaking of the Utah, their little tete-a-tete between Steve Smith Sr. and Dave Doran. Every time I hear Dave Doran speak, I fall asleep. All right, so that's an oldie but goldie, and it still works. All right, Sonny, here is the back and forth that led to Dave Doran on national TV, although maybe 150,000 saw it on CW. Still national television. Dave Doran said this, but we start with Steve Smith from the hideous College Game Day program.
Look, Clemson has been struggling. They're not the Clemson we've loved over the years. But NC State, unfortunately, they're waiting for basketball to start.
Yeah, you're right.
Tell Steve Smith in the studio, this ain't a basketball school. He can kiss my ass.
And then he walks off. A walk-off there by Dave Doran. I have the other cut here where he went even further, Sonny, in the he went even further in his post-game comments to the media in Raleigh afterwards. Now, this all follows Clemson getting beat by NC State. Here's Dave Doran to the media.
Yeah, for a guy that lives in Charlotte, he's got his head faced west to Utah all the time, which, I understand. And no disrespect to him, but he disrespected our program. And I'm not going to let people do that. These kids have worked their butt off. We've won a lot of football games here. And in my tenure, I think we're second or third in the ACC in wins in football. So, he can take that and put it where it belongs. But this is not a basketball school. This is a great, great school that has great sports, and football is one of them. And so, yeah, if he wants to come see me, we can talk about that. But, do your homework before you start talking.
Beeped out because he said a bad word. All right. Number one, Steve Smith doesn't know what he's talking about, because anybody who follows anything about college basketball knows NC State is not a basketball school, not even close to a basketball school. They're not a football school, though they think they are, but they are not a basketball school. Number two, Dave Doran acting like a jerk, doing Dave Doran things, takes away from his team's win against Clemson.
Yeah.
What say you, Sonny?
No,
Defend your boy Doran. Defend your boy Doran.
I mean, he's trying to defend his program, and that's great. But I mean, they better keep winning because they've got Miami this Saturday. They've got Wake Forest,
Yep.
Virginia Tech, and UNC. And I don't know. My whole thing is you're going to come out and make loud. I think it's better just to walk quietly, win games, and keep everything moving forward. Because if you put a target on your back,
1-3. They could go one, and you. I'm glad you mentioned this. Yeah. Virginia Tech's playing better. Miami is up and down, but Miami is still talented. Wake always plays NC State tough. Miami's they should be favorites. It's not like, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
yeah.
They could go 0-4. I mean, they could go 0-4 in those games.
I hope.
Yeah, so I mean,
I hope they do.
I get these guys try to fire up their teams or also like try to show personality to the fan bases. I just think if you do that stuff, you better win. And they won Saturday, but they've still got 4 more games. So I think, taking a shot at Steve Smith, who doesn't know, he didn't know. You're right. It's not a football score.
He didn't know NC State from Utah State. That way he might know Utah State.
Yeah, but I'm sure Steve Smith doesn't have the time to come up and talk to him, nor does he want to. I was just waiting for the retaliation. I was waiting for Steve Smith to pop back. We haven't heard anything yet.
Well, if we have, we've missed it, and that just tells you how flat this feud is. All right, so that's Dave Doran. Let's hear from we have no more audio to hear from. So let me ask you about the Carolina Tar Heels, the choking dogs that they are, losing at Georgia Tech, who is not exactly the rambling wreck of the 1990 season or whatever that won the title or did whatever. I mean, this is not a good team by any stretch of the imagination. Yet the UNC defense reverted back to the norm and just allowed a ton of points. I know Tez Walker got banged up, and you hate that for him. But wow, Sonny, wow, Sundog. I mean, I think Tech came back twice in the. Yes, Tech came back twice in that game from being down 2 scores, twice, to win it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I go back to with them is Drake May is going to be the number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft, and you've got an outstanding quarterback. You'll never have anybody better than him there, and your defense is that bad, and you're just flaking it away. I mean, they literally should be 8-0 right now. I mean, this should be their year. This should to lose at home to Virginia is even worse than losing at Georgia Tech. But they just obviously they fell asleep. They weren't prepared. They weren't ready. And that's what's the alarming thing. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, their schedule coming up, they've got Campbell on Saturday. They've got Duke, Clemson, and NC State. So, I mean, that's a schedule there.
They could go 1-3. They could go 1-3 in that stretch. They're going to beat Campbell. Totally, I hate to break it to you,
but if they pack it in, they could. I mean, and that's sad because this should be their year. I mean, they should be in the ACC championship, and they're probably going to blow it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Louisville is going to end up being there. They've got an elimination game essentially with Virginia Tech this weekend. This is all assuming Florida State rolls into there, which they should. Louisville shutting out Duke. That was probably one of the worst performances under Mike Elko for the Blue Devils, and they have Riley Leonard out there limping around doing the best he can do on a bad wheel, 2 bad wheels, actually, it appears. And they get shut out. So now Duke has dropped 2 in a row, and they've got 4 games left, and they need a win for bowl eligibility. What was looking like a special season is now starting to waver a hair. So they got Wake Forest Thursday. It's a quick turnaround, and Wake is pesky and can run the football.
Yeah, that Wake game, and then they have UNC after that. So their whole season's really going to be the next 2 with 4 games left, but the next 2 weeks is going to say it all. And it's too bad for Duke. Personally, I like Duke because I like Mike Elko, and I think they're doing things the right way. And that's cool. That's they don't have the resources as Clemson or Florida State, and they have a winner. So I'm a big fan of what he's doing. So I pull for them. But the Wake Forest game and the UNC game, that's going to be their season, those 2 games. So hopefully that they'll get healthy and they'll play to their full potential. But that Wake Forest team is always good. They're always solid, and especially when they're at home. You know, NC State's going to Wake Forest. They hadn't won there, and their record's terrible in Winston-Salem. So that's a tough place, tough team to go against.
Stat for you, Sonny, before we wrap up the segment: Houston, UCF, and Cincinnati are a combined 1-14 in Big 12 play. Your guy up there at West Virginia beat him, UCF, to move to 5-3 and 3-2. Is that guy going to survive up at West Virginia? By the way, Sonny, I mean they're a win away from bowl eligibility.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, to me,
Neil
on
Brown.
their schedule, yeah, I mean they're going to go minimum 7-5.
Okay.
So
that
possibly
saves them, you think?
I mean, I think 7. I don't know how you can do anything there if you're 7-5 or 8-4. I mean, yeah, it's not top 10.
Can't
team,
do anything
but I mean,
if you're 8-4. Yeah, you can't do anything if you're 8-4. Now, if you're 7-5, it just depends on the mood, I guess, and how much term he's got left and at what buyout rate. But I mean, if he wins
he's still got a high number.
Okay, well then, if you win 7 or 8 games, you can't do anything. They're showing progress. But are you astonished that UCF, Cincy, and Houston have struggled like they have in that conference?
Yeah, I have, just because I think they've got some good coaches there, and I didn't think the Big 12
UCF's got talent.
Yeah, I didn't think the Big 12. It's not like the Big 12 is the SEC. I mean, it's defense is optional up there. So I am surprised that they haven't transferred to more wins.
All right, the great Jay Sonnhalter. He'll be in Chapel Hill for Campbell at UNC. Say hello to Mac Brown, who now all of a sudden is too old to coach. He's too old to coach. Are you going to talk to Chadwick this week ahead of that game? Your guy Chadwick at Clayton, the head coach who coached Drake May. Okay, they got beat on a heartbreaker, Sonny, a heartbreaker to the Cleveland Rams on Friday night, a Hail Mary at the Horn.
Yeah, tough one, and high school playoffs starting next week.
Are you excited about that, Sonny?
I am. Yeah, week one should be good.
All right. The great Jay Sonnhalter, who started to sound better as we got him pepped up. I think it's because you haven't talked to me in a week is why you weren't feeling good. That's just what I think.
I miss you.
You should. I know what you've been up to. You should miss me. All right. The great Jay Sonnhalter, ESPN college football analyst. We are taking a break. I'm headed over to Tiebreakers. Philip the Ref Pilkington will have a Pirate report, some post-game audio for you. He'll have some Panthers for you to close the show. He's excited today because he was there and they won on a chip shot field goal. And then right now you'll hear from Pilk. Update, and we'll talk to Sonny next Monday. All right. Thanks again to Michael Buscemi, Philip the Ref Pilkington, and to Sonny. PJ Show continues